Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Rakestraw, and my presentation will be on the Haitian Revolution. The Caribbean nation of Haiti was originally a sugar-producing French colony known as Saint-Domingue. The labor regarding sugar canes was strenuous, and many enslaved individuals perished while harvesting this commodity. The labor performed and lives lost may have been integral to the revolution. And the Haitian Revolution, according to some scholars, represents the most thorough case study of revolutionary change in the history of the modern world. It was the first uprising since the United States' successful venture, and the first and only time that slaves overthrew their colonizers. It should be noted that slaves on Haiti actually outnumbered the whites by a large margin. In this presentation, I will be arguing that the Haitian Revolution heightened racial tensions within the United States because the leaders were fearful of slave uprisings. And so I want to begin by talking about the American Revolution, because the wariness surrounding African Americans when it came to the Founding Fathers has always been present. During the Revolutionary War, Washington did not want the slaves to serve and enlist because he did not want to give them firearms, and this was out of fear that an uprising would occur. Eventually he enlisted slaves because Lord Dunmore promised to free American slaves in exchange for fighting for Britain. In other words, the Americans risked losing the Revolutionary War because they were undermanned due to the fact that they were worried about slaves using firearms against them. Returning to the Revolution, however, the Haitian Revolution to the Americans was an affirmation of their skepticism regarding giving slaves firearms. And it had come to pass that the Haitian Revolution actually inspired American slaves. There was a conflict known as Gabriel's Revolution that occurred in Virginia. It was unsuccessful, but it taught Virginia's white residents several lessons. It first suggested that enslaved blacks in America were capable of preparing and carrying out a sophisticated and violent attack, which undermined white supremacist assumptions about the intellectual inferiority of blacks. It also demonstrated that white efforts to suppress news of the Haitian Revolution had failed, because literate slaves read accounts of the successful attack in Virginia's newspapers, while others heard about the rebellion firsthand when slave-holding refugees from Haiti arrived in Virginia with their slaves after July of 1793. And it should be noted that what empowered slaves to rebel may have been the fact that they saw these white slaveholders like helpless, pretty much, because they were refugees. And so the black activism that was caused by the revolution extends far beyond 1804, which is when the revolution ended. It's been mentioned by powerful black people such as David Walker, who wrote that the resistance was the glory. Haiti was the glory of the blacks and the terror of the tyrants. And the third college graduate of color in the United States in 1826 discussed how Haitians were very privileged to achieve this goal. And in 1838, the Colored American, an early black newspaper, professed that Haiti removed all of its disabilities by rebelling and being successful. And so here you have successful blacks who could actually, who were educated, who believed they could operate a government because Haiti was successful. So they were inspired by the revolution, definitely. I wanted to return to our time frame by talking about Thomas Jefferson, actually. In 1802, Jefferson's Postmaster General, Gideon Granger, fired the free blacks employed in his department because their power he believed threatened to promote slave revolts. So according to Jefferson, having blacks in a position of power, such as within the government anywhere, was a threat to the country. Perhaps he believed that the slaves, if they saw free blacks in power, would think that they are capable of running a country together, and in turn an uprising would occur. And in addition, Jefferson also blemished Haiti's image by isolating them and just like slandering and libeling them. He denounced them as cannibals of the terrible republic, so he called the country terrible as well. He refused to recognize their nation as a country, and he supported a congressional ban on the trade with the republic. And Jefferson's reaction may have occurred because he was a wealthy slave owner at the time, so he sympathized with the whites who died or became refugees during the Haitian Revolution. And so the black activism inspired by Haiti's revolution was so powerful that white leaders scrambled to use the violence of the Haitian revolt to reinforce white supremacy and pro-slavery views by limiting the social and political lives of the people of color. I stated this earlier, white publications mocked blacks as buffoons and by ridiculing calls for abolition and equal rights. Some of these were the Abolition broadsides, which were published in Boston in the 1810s. They crudely mocked African Americans, and these became like the basis for racist ideas that thrived in the 19th century. And this ridicule also implied that black people's Americans' presence in the political conversation was significant enough to require it. And the need to reinforce such an obvious difference between whiteness and blackness implied that the differences might not be so obvious after all. The Haitian Revolution, as I said, heightened racial tensions within the United States because they feared their leaders were fearful of slave uprisings. This may have occurred because the United States was very dependent on slavery. Its economy was thriving, and it would become a powerful nation because of slave labor, and they didn't want this to be ruined. And also they didn't want to end up like the French, because Saint Domingue was also a powerful colony that produced copious amounts of sugar, which was highly sought after. Thank you.